Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of talk of jailing women over abortions. But, criminalizing a pregnancy actually happened to Black women first. Many of you might remember during the crack epidemic, Black women were jailed if they were addicted to crack and the baby was born, was a stillbirth, or the baby was addicted to crack. Those things were dealt with in criminal court, and Black women were charged with murder if that baby was stillborn. So it seems to be a lot of chatter about jailing these women. If they get abortions, they go to jail. But I'm going to go ahead and play this audio for you from NPR.
With the overturn of Roe v. Wade, abortion is already or soon will be illegal in more than half the country, which means pregnancy outcomes will be increasingly regulated not by healthcare professionals but by law enforcement. NPR's Sandia Dirks reports. Haley McMahon has been watching the response to the end of abortion rights, and she keeps hearing the same phrase.
You can't ban abortion, only safe abortion.
McMahon studies abortion access, and she says while women will certainly die because of the Supreme Court's decision, this idea of women dying from back alley abortions is stuck in the past.
It is true for the pre-Roe period, but not necessarily for the post-Roe period.
That's because medicine has advanced. Now there are self-managed abortions, pills people take to safely terminate a pregnancy from home. That's why she says the symbol of this moment is not wire hangers.
The really significant concern is about the legal dangers of self-managed abortion.
A more accurate symbol might be prison bars.
Our country in the past 50 years has decided that the police state is the way to respond to public health crises, to mental health crises, to poverty.
That's Dana Sussman with National Advocates for Pregnant Women, NAPW. They represent women who are facing charges related to losing a pregnancy.
The mother is blamed for the pregnancy loss and then criminalized for that loss without really any science or medicine backing it up.
Sussman says in a lot of places, this criminalization of pregnancy has already been happening. There's two factors behind that. One, a raft of post-Roe feticide laws enacted over the past few decades, which made a fetus a new kind of crime victim. These laws were passed ostensibly to protect pregnant people who are extra vulnerable to domestic violence. But Sussman says that's not what happened.
What these laws are then used for is actually to criminalize the pregnant person herself. And in fact, these laws don't make pregnant people any safer.
The second factor was the war on drugs, which ushered in our current era of mass incarceration and spread dangerous narratives, especially about Black people, like the idea that Black women were giving birth to a generation of so-called crack babies, an entirely fictional racist myth.
The first experiment in this area were primarily drug-using Black women who were charged with crimes in relationship to their fetuses, child abuse, child neglect.
They were charged when their babies were born healthy, or when they lost the pregnancy from likely natural causes. UC Irvine law professor Michelle Goodwin, who wrote the book Policing the Womb, says it's not because Black women were using drugs at higher rates than white women.
The result was that Black women who suffered from stillbirths were being policed and ultimately were being arrested.
In 1989, at the Medical University of South Carolina, staff working in concert with local law enforcement started drug testing pregnant women that they deemed suspicious without their knowledge. Over the course of 5 years, 30 women were arrested for things like child abuse.
Every one of the arrests were all Black women with the exception of one patient, and on her medical chart, the nurse who was in charge wrote, "Lives with Negro boy."